Just a quick shout out to our supporters over at Patreon, our Twitch subscribers, and you the viewer for watching this video. It really means the world to us, and because of you, videos like this are possible, so thank you all so very much. Hello and welcome to my level 70 Red Mage Controller Guide. In this guide we're going to be covering my UI layout, settings, as well as my controller layout and any macros that I might be using. I'm going to do my best to include timestamps for the various sections down below, so please check those out. But let's go ahead and do this thing. So let's first go ahead and start and take a look at my HUD layout. They have made a lot of changes with patch 4.1 regarding the UI and the tools here, so we'll cover those as well. Not much has changed for my Red Mage. Progress bar is actually shifted up over here. My focus target bar and my enemy list make up the left side. Now I shifted my target bar up because my balance gauge and other information regarding my enfeeblements has changed. Being able to split those apart has been a huge help. If you don't know how to do that, whatever window you're selected, click on UI element settings and you can see how to do those various things. So I have it set to display as 3 groups, and then I have each group displaying and the various settings for each as well. That has made my food buffs basically go up here while my buffs and my debuffs are going right here. This is really important because the balance gauge doesn't communicate when you have dual cast on, and I want to make sure I never miss a dual cast, because sometimes you can end up putting on swift cast and overriding a dual cast opportunity, things like that. Anyway, regardless, I just want to make sure it is up and ready when I expect it to be. So then here I have my hotbar 3. You can change your settings here, set the size, the width, etc. I've actually increased its size because they've given us the ability to do so to make these icons stand out a little bit more. I still have my left W cross hotbar and my right W cross hotbar offset, and then my main cross hotbar followed by parameter bar and hotbar 2. Now as for my hotbar 3, you can see a lot of icons. Since this is a controller guide, you don't click on these icons, you don't access these icons via a computer or a mouse. These are just to communicate cooldowns to me and when they're ready for me to use, because sometimes, especially with the extended cross hotbar, some of these icons aren't always visible to me, so I do want to make sure that I'm not missing a chance to use them. Also, I'm going to do my best to pronounce these abilities. I am sure going to get comments, and I love you guys. Thank you very much for your feedback. So with hotbar 3, we've got swift cast and we've got lucid dreaming. These are important cooldowns that I really want to have use for. Now, I can see these obviously on the bars themselves, but in case, I just want to make sure I'm communicating that. If you wanted to go with more of a simple approach, you can remove many icons from this hotbar as needed. And again, this isn't the be all end all. Make it your own. Hopefully I inspire you to do something interesting with it. Then I've got mana shift, impact. This is important because I macro impact with Jolt, and that way I want to make sure I can see whenever it procs. Contra 6, Fletch, Embolden, Acceleration, Magnification, Displacement, and Corpse to Core. This is my hotbar for cooldowns. Now, I center these two namely because of I love them. I want to make sure that they're always in my mind because they're the off global cooldown and they hit really hard. One's the AoE and one is the single target, and they should not be missed by any means imaginable. And because of the nature in which that I have hidden them on the double cross hotbar, I just want to make sure I never forget about that. So starting with the left cross hotbar, I found that I actually have a lot of room here as a red mage. So I put 2 emotes here, which I like, and it doesn't impact. Again, if I ever need to trigger this outside of a macro, I want to make sure I do that. Same thing for Corpse to Core. This is important because I want to be able to fire that off anytime outside of a macro if necessary. I didn't want to have to get into a situation where I didn't have the ability to do it, because sometimes macros can definitely be unreliable and your ping plays a role. Anyway, so I just want to highlight that. In fact, the double cross hotbar left isn't used as much as I thought it would be, and it is definitely used less than other jobs. Then I've got swift cast, acceleration, addle, and displacement. Now, addle can be any of your cross roll abilities. You can take and pick and choose a variety of them. So think of this as my kind of your always changing slot, and rather than the skill itself. So acceleration is fantastic. We're going to cover this in the How to Red Mage coming out at some point in the future, or if it is the future and you're watching this, then at some point probably already. Displacement, fantastic ability. This is your ability to jump back from anything, and it's really important because if you look at this, outside of these kind of buffs and debuffs, for yourself or for an enemy, here is my wheel of melee. If you think of the Red Mage and the duality of their white magic and black magic, as well as their casting and their melee. So starting here, I have Riposte, Zurichu, Redoublement, and Moulinet. Riposte is a macro, so if we go take a look at our macro section, in here we macro it with Corpse of Core. And the reason is because if we're too far away for Riposte to work, it's going to bring us right into the fray, and otherwise it's just going to use the melee attack and not use it as well. So it's pretty simple. Use this if you wish. Then on the right hand side, we've got, we'll start over here actually this time. We've got Jolt Impact, which is a fancy way of saying Impact and Jolt. The Jolt ability will auto-scale to Jolt 2, and the macro icon will as well. I put Impact first because I want to use that first. It's a harder hitting spell. But then outside of that, again, the macro icon is for Jolt, so I get that global cooldown because that's what you're going to end up using more often than not. Then I've got Ver Arrow and Ver Stone. Then I have Ver Thunder, Ver Fire, Ver Holy, and Ver Flare, and Scatter. Scatter being your AoE spell. Pretty much it's like Jolt, except for, AoE. Now the reason I've set this up this way, and several of you have sent me pictures of your layout, you guys have really wonderfully informed how I set my guide up for this video, so thank you very much for that. Now it's important to say that I did make some tweaks here because namely when I am moving around and I need to cast a spell, I put Ver Thunder on the right hand side where, right here, so that when I'm moving I can have the choice usually between Ver Arrow and Ver Thunder when casting the ability for both the black and the white mana. Being that I use Ver Holy and Ver Flare not as often as the rest of the spells, that's why I've kind of moved those out of the main, and usually that means when I'm standing still or whatever, I'm going to be using those with the up and the left on the D-pad itself. This gives me, I think, a better feel for my black and white magic. Before, and the suggestion usually was to have your black and white magic all together, and that's not necessarily bad at all, so you guys can take it for however you want in that regards. On the double cross hotbar right, here I've got Apothecasis, Lucid Dreaming, Max Potion of Intelligence, and Tether. Abilities that I use, more Lucid Dreaming than anything else, but just to have access to, again, never know what the situation will call for. Now on my extended cross hotbar, and I'm going to go to hotbar 2 because that is where this is set, I've got Verraise, Vercure, Fletche, Contra 6, Manification, Mana Shift, Emboldened, and Diversion. These are great abilities to have access to at all times, and so no matter what I'm doing, how I'm moving, I've got access to that as well. The extended cross hotbar is really powerful if you're not using it. The extended cross hotbar is really powerful. If you're not using it, I recommend you check it out. As far as those settings go, to get to the extended cross hotbar, you want to go under Character Configuration, Hotbar Settings, and then under Custom, you can enable expanded controls with left trigger and right trigger. This would give you the ability to say what hotbars it pulls from. And in this case, left trigger, right trigger pulls from hotbar 2, and right trigger, left trigger pulls from hotbar 7. Here you can see my limit break, my book, sprint, mounts, and various target callouts. This is important because it applies to all my jobs, no matter what job I'm playing. Every job, I have access to and limit break on. No reason I need to individually slot that. Here's where I can also tailor my W cross hotbar as well as my hotbar experience with customization for sheathing and for when my weapon is drawn. What that means is if I tap the right bumper, I can jump between certain hotbars. If my weapon is out, I can limit different hotbars that jumps to itself. This is hyperly important whenever and for different jobs that you're playing, so you don't get lost in a maze of various hotbars. I cover a lot of this and how it's set up in my controller guides and intro to guides, so I'll try to link those in the description below for you. But just let me know if you have any questions about this at this time. Red Mage is a fantastic job. I really have enjoyed playing it. I really appreciate you guys voting for it for leveling purposes. But with that, I'm going to leave this where it is. We've got lots more guides and information coming out about Red Mage here in the future. But for Work to Game, my name's Brian. Thanks for watching this video. Hope to see you in my next. and I hope that you enjoy your Red Mage as much as I have. Anyway, until next time, take care.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Brian, you think there's anywhere they could catch us in the meantime?
Right now, Chris, we're probably on Twitch. If it's probably in the afternoon, it could be you. Sometimes you see my face. And we also found this random guy, named Kevin on the street somewhere.
I accidentally left my password written on the side of my car.
Oh man, that was really a big mistake. But guys, we really appreciate it if you guys hit the link in the description below for our Twitch page. We'd love to see you over there. And you can even subscribe to us over on Twitch.
If you're Amazon Prime, that could even be free.
Oh my gosh, what a deal.
Well, cool. Well, thanks guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.